He's right there.
That's a big ass fish. That's a monster, Mike. Good job.
And that's why we're obviously outdoorsmen. Bada boom, we are back. Good morning, everybody. I am Mike with Obviously Outdoorsman. Today's topic, spot burning, why it's bad, what it is, and if you do it, I don't have respect for you, Mr. Spot Burners. But today's topic, if you guys are new to the First Light Talk series with Obviously Outdoorsman, we talk about a current news article in most of these podcasts before the actual topic. And if you guys are also new, subscribe to us if you're listening on YouTube, and follow us if you're listening to us on any audio platform. And these podcasts come out daily, so stay tuned and turn on the little bell to be notified every single morning when these podcasts are posted. But today's news article: deer hunters take biggest buck harvest of 21st century and the most mature bucks ever. This article comes from Field and Stream, and it says that during the 2020 to 2021 season, the nation's whitetail hunters tagged more than 3 million bucks, including the greatest number of mature bucks recorded in a single season in modern history. Okay, so the 2020-2021 season was already like one of the most notable seasons ever because of the wild uptick in license sales just across the country. And the pandemic created more time for everybody and just time for them to get out in the woods. And the people that really only got out like once a year to go hunting, they had a lot of time on their hands to get out and just go out there and hunt. So this same season where there is a wild uptick in license sales and hunters in the woods is also getting noticed for the record-setting buck harvest with the largest percentage of mature animals ever. Okay, according to the NDA, or National Deer Association, America's deer hunters tagged an estimated 3,041,544 bucks, a record high harvest of antlered whitetails for the 21st century. And estimated 41% of those bucks were 3.5 years old or older. So the 2020 season likely saw the greatest number of mature bucks killed ever in modern history. And we know that the 2020 hunting license sales increased by over 5% overall from 2019. And those license buyers took home 500,000 more whitetails than the previous season. So from this pandemic, with all these new hunters going into the woods, a 5% increase. Just from that 5% increase, and I guess a lot of them had to be successful, there was over 500,000 more bucks harvested this past year than ever before in modern history. And it was just incredible because for many of the recent years, the number of hunters were just on the steady decline, whether it be just from just hate coming from everyone else, outside influence, or not having time because of work, family, or whatever it may be. Just, it's been on a steady decline. Not many people were getting into hunting. There wasn't a steady uptick in new hunters, and this pandemic created it from everyone just being busy as anything to having time to actually try their interests and hobbies and getting out in the woods. And hunters clearly reap the benefits of naturally balanced age structures in herds across the whitetails range. This is stated in the article. They helped increase the antlerless harvest back above the buck harvest where it needed to be, but they also saw more mature bucks in the woods than ever before. And the young buck harvest is down and the mature buck harvest is up. So not only are there more mature whitetail bucks in the woods, all right, people are actually just letting younger bucks go to actually be able to harvest the more mature bucks. And no matter what it may be, if you guys just go out there to hunt meat or just hunt whatever you see, then kudos to you for not just having the stigma of I have to shoot a big buck. But for most hunters out there, they want to shoot the most mature buck out there, one that already had a chance to spread its genes throughout the woods. It's getting older, it's the dominant buck, and that's the challenge for them. And the annual harvest of yearling bucks, so like 1.5 years old, it's been on a steady decline since 2001. Now, whether that be to social media and the social impact of just everyone posting ginormous bucks on TV, harvesting big bucks on TV, never a small buck on TV, or social media saying you have to shoot big bucks, whatever the influence may be, the harvest of yearling bucks were on a steady decline. And that year, close to 50% of the buck harvest consisted of yearlings back in 2001. And now in 2020, yearlings showed less than 30% of the buck harvest. So the harvest of mature bucks has been gradually climbing during the same period. So the yearling buck's been on a decline and the mature bucks have been on an incline. And in 2001, just over 20% of whitetail bucks killed by hunters were mature, 3.5 years old or older. And the mature buck harvest cracked the 30% mark in 2011 and kept climbing to its current peak of 41%, according to the NDA. So this is just an awesome thing. All right. Not only is there more hunters than there ever were in years past in the woods this year because of the pandemic and because of all the free time, right? A lot of these people were successful, and hopefully because of their successes, they don't just stop because everyone's going back to work and life's kind of going back to normal in a certain sense. Hopefully they stay with it and stay hunting, or at least stay shooting their bow, or just staying in the hunting sport and aspect. And even if it's a new hunter and they had all the time in the world to hunt during the pandemic and now they can only hunt a couple weeks out of the year, right, then at least they're out there hunting and they're enjoying the sport. So kudos to all the U.S. hunters out there that made this record of the biggest buck harvest of the 21st century and the most mature bucks ever. I'm glad you are letting the young ones walk and basically challenging yourself to shoot the biggest buck of your life and just a mature buck. All right, but on to today's topic of spot burning. All right, face it, if you've been angling for quite some time, you've probably showed the wrong person a fishing spot that you shouldn't have. And because after you bring them there, they return to the spot without you. And they bring someone new, someone else. And what started as fishing with a buddy and only showing one person, it turned into 15 new people knowing about the spot and potentially blowing it up on the internet of how good the spot was. Because you bring someone just because you don't want to fish alone and you want to give someone else an experience of your good spot, and they had a good time, but they know where you went. And then maybe like 3 days later, you see your friend back there with someone else that you don't know. And you're like, yo, what the hell? Who is that? And it's like, it's just my buddy. It's okay. But then that new person brings someone new. And then that new person brings someone new. And it's just an on and on, just domino effect of showing one person turning into 15 new people knowing. And then all it takes is just one person blowing it up on social media or just blabbermouth, and the spot's ruined. There's a million people there or a million kids there just fishing away, and if they catch fish or not, these fish are seeing a lot more lures and baits than they've ever seen before, and they're gonna be pressured and they're not gonna want to bite. And if you guys don't know what spot burning is essentially the publicizing of a spot that it in turn produces excessive fishing pressure. And in angling, there's a fine balance between sharing valuable fishing information and telling too many people or the wrong person that has diarrhea of the mouth and tells the whole world, and it just turns into just too many people hitting that spot and making the fishing much harder due to high pressure. And it's one thing to tell one person information, and it's another about putting out on social media and blabbering to the whole world where the fish are biting. And social media has been the biggest downfall to fishing spots. All right, it's been very valuable, but it's also been the biggest downfall. It's nice because many hardcore anglers with fishing etiquette, aka not spot burning, knowing to respect the spot in the wilderness, and if someone goes out of their way to show you a spot, you don't go out and just blow it up and tell everyone. That's just not how it works. All right, but a lot of people are connecting with each other, these hardcore anglers, and they're using the tool for greatness. They're connecting with new people, making new content, catching big fish, and they're keeping the spots secret, and they're keeping the spots great spots. But a lot of people end up burning a prime spot because of it, whether it be because of a known landmark in the background of a picture. I cannot tell you how many times I've picked up spots, and I haven't even, it's like I'm just scrolling through Instagram, and I'm like, oh, look at that. He caught that in front of the Statue of Liberty. I don't know, the stripers are in right now, and they're slamming him right there, right? And whether it be freshwater or saltwater, if you do it on saltwater, if you're doing like a fall run or spring run striper bite, especially in like New Jersey, all right, if you have a couple hardcore anglers following the bass, and it's like, okay, they're biting here, they're biting here, they're biting here. It takes like 2 or 3 days for just it being blown up from you're being like the 10 people on this just massive school of fish and a blitz after blitz and just catching giant fish to like 100 to 200 people sitting there with bait and just pulling in fish and keeping everything undersized, and you can't even wade in the water because the beaches are lined with bait fishermen and you can't even cast the lure. All right, it's just bad. And whether it be fresh or saltwater, it's bad either way. And these landmarks in the back of pictures, it could be a factory, a street sign, just a bridge, just a noticeable any feature in the background. It could burn a spot. And that's why a lot of people have been blurring out the backgrounds and just cutting out their fish and them in the picture and just having a black screen. It's just terrible that you have to ruin a picture because you don't want anyone else fishing that spot. So you could either take a picture from like the top down to where only the grass is showing, or from the bottom up where only the sky is showing. And even sometimes just taking pictures with the woods in the background is detrimental because all it takes is one tree or one just noticeable rock that people know about, and they're like, oh, I know exactly where you are. And then they text 7 people and they're like, yo, is this spot? And they're like, yep, that's the spot. And then it's like, okay, let's go hit it. And then it's just an ongoing chain of events. So you have to be very careful when you're posting a picture. And not even just known landmarks, geotagging the specific location. Okay, and Fishbrain is known for this. Fishbrain is a big spot burning app. I know it probably has helped out a lot of anglers depending on how they use it, of a lot of the newbie anglers. But if you don't use it right and you post a picture of a great fish and it automatically adds the geotag to it of exactly where you are, right, that spot is screwed. It's just screwed. And the people that go on Instagram and just post of a giant bass or trout or redfish, whatever it may be, and they put the location of exactly where they are, all right, and especially in Facebook groups where it's like the saltwater fishing group or the freshwater fishing group, bass fishermen, trout fishermen of whatever state, you post where you are, then there's going to be a lot of people there the next day, and a lot of these people just go off of word of mouth, and they don't do any of their own research, any of their own scouting, and it's just over. They just wait for other people to do the work, give out free information, and that's it. And then they go and they catch the fish, or they at least fill up the spot and add fishing pressure to it. And for the people that don't know, certain states and certain spots can only take a certain amount of fishing pressure from it going to a good spot to an overfished spot that isn't even worth going to, because Tom, Dick, Harry, Bill, Rob, anyone, and they keep everything, and the bite goes from great to crap, and this process happens fairly quickly. In states like New Jersey, where there are only a certain few spots across the state that have very few people fishing them, doing very well, and keeping them a secret. And when a spot in New Jersey gets burned, it's really burnt. It's not like Florida where there's just like a bajillion lakes and ponds and just a ton of salt water where it's like, okay, this spot gets a little bit known. There's a bajillion other spots we could hit. Jersey is very limited, okay? There's only a very few amount of spots that are still a hidden gem in the woods, or just a little pocket or a hole that no one knows about or very few people know about, and they keep it on the down low. And I love when I'm out fishing and they're like, hey, how you doing? You catching anything? And then we have to like basically pry information out of each other. And it's like, how'd you learn about this spot? It's like, I've been fishing here since I was 7. I know this spot. And they're like, oh, okay, keep it on the down low. And it's like, yeah, dude, I am the king of keeping it on the down low. I don't tell anyone anything unless I completely trust you. And I still don't tell everyone anything because that's just how it is. That's fishing etiquette. All right. You keep a spot a secret. You keep the spot precious. So it will always be good and just be good for generations to come if you keep it quiet. And when a spot in New Jersey gets burnt, it's just like, it goes from you and like 3 people that you know that hit it to you going out there and you noticing like three random people fishing it. And then you go out like a week later and then there's 10 people fishing it. And then you go out the next time and it's like, where are all these people coming from? And they're normally not great, respectable fishermen to where they leave trash everywhere. They might keep every single fish they catch. And it's sad that it goes from a private, like quiet spot to where you're alone slaying in the woods to it just being crowded and you're acting like it's opening day of trout and it's shoulder to shoulder. It's just sad. Don't be that guy that brings everyone of your friends to a spot and then bring everyone to their friends to your spot. And like me and Rob act like our spots are gold. And if it's a spot that's a decent amount of people know about, like if it's a public reservoir or a public lake, but we know certain sections of that lake or reservoir that's doing very, very well, okay, we act like it doesn't exist. We don't tell anyone, but we say, well, like, let's just say a broad example of New Jersey, right? We're like Round Valley. We just say, yep, we slayed them in Round Valley today. And it's like, well, where? It's like, out there in the coves. And it's like, well, what cove? And it's like, okay, dude, you're trying to be specific because you don't want to go out there, do your own scouting, your own research, your own trial and error, right? Fishermen and fishing in general, the reason we have all this knowledge is a lot of trial and error and research, whether it be scoping out Google Maps or just going out and grinding on the hoof for years and years and years and years on end, figuring out what baits work, what colors work, what presentation works, what time of year, where are they in the depth zone? Are they up shallow? Are they down low? Are they hugging the bottom? Are they hitting top water in the morning? Are they hitting smaller jigs in the afternoon? Does the wind put them in this place when it's blowing northeast, or does it put it over there when it's a little bit colder? Like, we do all this research and like just foot on the ground scouting because that's one of the best ways to learn, and that's one of the only ways to learn of just hidden gems in the woods. All right, you're going to search a lot of dead ends to find one golden spot that makes up for 10 days in a row of just a crap fest of basically catching nothing. That's just how it works. So when we get a spot that's great and like barely anyone knows about it, we don't tell a soul. And we have so many people ask to fish with us. And I'm not even talking about just random people. I'm talking about friends, like closer friends that we hang out with that want to fish with us. And we're just like, no, we're not going to take you there. Or if we say yes, we'll take them to a more public spot, a more public river. Just because we're not going to blow our great holes because we kind of know that you're a blabbermouth and you say you're not going to tell anyone, but you're going to tell someone. We know it. You've done it before. And I've told certain people about some of my bass spots, some of my trout spots that I wish I never did because they blew it up. And they went back like every single night for like 2 weeks straight. And a lot of times they were with someone new and they just blew it up. And I just kick myself in the ass for telling these people about these spots. And it's just, you live and learn and you try not to do it again. That's why I either fish alone now or I fish with Rob. And it's kind of sad, but it is what it is. I mean, sometimes we like to get out with new people and try and collab on new videos, but you got to make it a public body of water so it doesn't get blown up. And it's just sad that way. And even our close friends, we've had close friends blow up fishing spots and just hammer fishing spots behind our back when we aren't there. They will go there every single day and try for us to not know, but then they post a picture of the fish with a clear as day background landmark that we know, and we're like, yo, what are you doing? And it's like, I'm just hitting it. It's okay, I'm here alone. And then you look in the reflection of their sunglasses in the picture and you see someone else taking a picture, and it's like, yeah, who took the picture? And it's like, my brother. And it's like, oh, so you did take someone new. And it's like, oh, my brother won't tell anyone. It's like, well, we don't know that. All it takes for him to put it on Facebook and to tell all his friends, maybe they're locals to the area, and then there's 25 kids fishing it the next day. Right? I'm not saying don't get new people into fishing. Right? I'm not saying that at all. There's a fine line between getting new people into fishing, getting them hooked on fishing. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying don't take just don't blow it up. Right? If you're going to take someone new, take someone new. And then just say, hey, listen, don't post anything about it. Or if you're going to post something about it, just don't say where it is. And if anyone asks, just tell them the wrong location. Tell them a very public spot. And it's like, okay, cool. I won't blow it up. You showed me the spot and you didn't have to do that. So I'm going to respect you and your wishes. I'm not going to tell anyone where I caught this fish. Can I post it? It's like, yeah, sure. Just don't tell anyone. And it's like, okay, cool. Versus you going on, let's just say like Facebook, Woods and Water, or Facebook fishing, trout fishing, whatever it is. And it's like I just slayed them on the Pequest River, wintertime, where a lot of people aren't catching them. I mean, this is a bad example. A better example would be like the striper run in New Jersey. It's like if you're going out there and you're on just like I don't know, LBI or Island Beach State Park, and it's like, okay, you're alone and you're slaying. It's like there's probably a good reason why you're probably having the best day of your life when you're alone. Normally when it's striper fishing and it's like plug-in time, whether it's spring or fall run, if you're alone and you're really doing good, it's because no one else is there, and it's probably going to be the best fishing day of your life because it's not hammered with people. You can move up and down the beach without any restrictions. Maybe there's one or two other guys there and it's quiet. And then if you go on Facebook, like especially a striper Facebook group, and you post that you just like hammered like 50 bass in 2 hours on plugs or lures, I guarantee you, like, cut my left foot off if I'm wrong, if you post it on a striper Facebook fishing group, there will be 50 people there the next day, and that is on the low end. If you blow it up, it will get shared and sent to every Tom, Dick, and Harry in New Jersey, and they will be there and they will be blowing it up. All right? Just don't be that guy. If you do good, post a picture of the fish and just say, nice fish I caught on this lure. Cool. Great time. Don't say, I caught it at Island Beach State Park. Dude, stop it. You're just blowing it up. And I have found out many fishing spots just from looking on Facebook and going, oh, look, I didn't know that kind of fish was in there, or I didn't know they were over there. I know where that spot is. I'm going to go try it. I know the bite's on. Let me just go over there. All right. And I've learned just by that, okay, I don't blow up the spot, but I will go there and fish it. And that's a new angler hitting a spot that wasn't there before. So just be careful what you're doing. Okay, I've actually blindfolded people that actually wanted to come with me and made them turn their phone off and leave it in the car, so there's no way they can know the spot. It's like a common mockery when people ask, where'd you catch them? In the water. Keep it to that, guys. Just bring that back. Don't tell every Tom, Dick, and Harry that asks you, where'd you catch the fish, where you actually caught the fish. Right? If it's like a close friend or family member, okay, be like, okay, I caught him here. Cool. But if it's just random Joe Schmo DMing you on Instagram saying, where can I catch fish? And it's like, well, if you want to catch like Florida peacock bass, just type, where can I catch Florida peacock bass? And I guarantee you there will be many of articles telling you where to go, what to use, basically just a checklist of where to go and what to use, and I guarantee you they're going to be there and you're going to catch fish and use it across any single state. Right? If you're in Virginia and you want to catch bass, type in bass fishing Virginia, and you're going to come up with just a million different lake and pond options of where to catch bass. If you're in New Jersey and you want to catch let's say smallmouth, where can I catch smallmouth in New Jersey, or lake trout, or landlocked salmon, or perch? Okay, if you just Google it, I guarantee you many articles will come up that point you in the general direction. And if it gives you like 10 spots to try, hit these 10 spots over the course of the next 3 months or next month and find which spots are better than others. And then when you find a better spot than the other spot, grind it out on that lake, find the best spot in that lake, and just go to town. And that's how you find your best fishing spots that are your own little secret that maybe not everyone knows about. Right? That's how it works. You got to grind if you want to learn the right information. And don't be that moocher that just steals everyone else's spots. And don't be that douchebag that just puts a spot on blast and burns it to the goddamn ground. All right? I am Mike. We're obviously outdoorsmen. Take this topic seriously. Don't be a spot burner, but be a good fisherman and post it the right way. All right? If you guys are new, again, to these First Light Talks, follow us, share them with your buddies, share them with your mother. I've said this a couple times in a couple different videos already. Share them with your mother. I don't care who you show them to. I don't care if you have a 1-year-old son or daughter. Show them a video and put them to sleep if this podcast was boring to you. But leave a comment down below. Let me know if you liked the podcast, didn't like the podcast. Let me know why. And hit the subscribe button. Follow us on audio platforms. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, the works. And stay tuned for tomorrow's FLT Talk, First Light Talk with the Obviously Outdoorsmen podcast. And it seems like you guys have really liked the shed hunting podcast on why you suck at shed hunting. So I'm actually going to sit down and do basically the Bible of shed hunting, and it's going to be a longer video. I'm going to just deep dive on every single nook and cranny tip and tactic that you can use to find more sheds and be a better shed hunter. In the near future, I'm going to post that video up there. But if you like this video, please share it with someone, post it on Facebook. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, email me at obviously.outdoorsman@gmail.com, and I will get back to you very quickly. All right, it will normally be within 10 minutes if I am not busy, but it would always be same day I will get back to you. All right, thank you guys for listening. I greatly appreciate you guys. I am Mike with Obviously Outdoorsman. Peace out. Enjoy your day. Go work out, fatties. Just kidding. Wait, not really. Go work out. All right, peace, guys.